Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Said Dan channel. I've got 3 stories to share with you in this latest Moon Family Said Dan room temperature jam. A former Ripple employee has been attempting to purchase a car, in part using XRP, and it's been, from, and I'll show you exactly why, nothing but a complete and utter headache. And it's just interesting seeing that he's having to deal with this in particular, because of the fact that he was working for Ripple, a company that was trying to make it as easy to move money, to move value around the planet as it is to send an email or a text message today. He was working for a company to make that happen. Still, obviously, that hasn't quite been achieved, although obviously the degree to which Ripple's found success, including in positioning XRP as a bridge currency, very impressive, obviously. Not to belittle that or make light of that, but still we're not quite there. And it's just interesting to see the entire rigmarole that he had to go through to move it. Anyway, I'll share with you. That's the first story I'll cover. Then there was also this from the Crypto Basic. XRP community member bashes Coin Center after Agrawal mocks Ripple. And then finally, there's this story from the Crypto Basic. XRP Ledger Foundation releases updated UNL, now boasting 36 validators. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here we have a very short thread from former Ripple employee Matt Hamilton, and he is sharing the headache that he's been going through in trying to buy a car and trying to use XRP for at least part of the purchase. And so he wrote the following. I'm trying to buy a car. I wanted to use some of my XRP. Buyer doesn't accept crypto. So the process went, and this is a lot of moving stuff around, and you'll see why. But to check this out. So from XRP Ledger to Binance, sell XRP for the stablecoin Tether USDT, sell USDT for GBP, then transfer GBP via faster payments to Revolut, transfer GBP via faster payments to Wise, convert GBP to United States dollars, send United States dollars from Wise to FCIB BBD account. Last step paused as banks closed for the weekend. So look at all of those steps. And then it's like, oh, and also it's the weekend, so you can't complete this right now. Sorry, you just gotta wait for a business day. Oh my God. Can you believe that this is 2023 and this is still how money has to move around the planet? And admittedly, it does depend on jurisdiction, which I'll cover further now. So there's another tweet from Hamilton. He said, why such a torturous process? Because of the policy on accepting crypto payments by the bank accounts and minimizing the slow/expensive ACH/SWIFT transfers. The irony is not lost on me. I used to work for a company trying to solve this exact problem. No kidding. That sucks. That really sucks. Now, things won't always be like this. This is going to be fixed. And there are solutions technologically that already exist today. It doesn't have to be like this, but the technology needs to be adopted. And from a regulatory perspective, it needs to be approved. Now somebody responded to him. Lots of people responded, so I just picked one example here. But somebody named Smudge wrote to him and said, he made a suggestion here. XRP on Ledger Nano, move it to Uphold account, move it to bank account. Seconds, had no issues. And so then Matt Hamilton responded, he said, into which bank account in which country? And then Smudge responded and said, United Kingdom/England. To which Matt Hamilton responded, yeah, the difficulty I have is I need to get the funds to my local account in Barbados. They are notoriously anti-crypto. So that's the thing. It does depend on where you're living. But even if you were having, there are a lot of jurisdictions where even though you wouldn't have quite that many steps necessary, it's still more than it should be. And it's crazy to think even in 2023 with the attacks from various government agencies that we're seeing right now, on-ramps and off-ramps rather are being decimated. In fact, I'll just mention it once again here since we're talking about it, but even Kraken, a major cryptocurrency exchange, one that I use here in the United States. I actually just started using I actually technically registered over half a decade ago, never happened to need to use them, and then I did recently because I purchased some Flare. But anyway, They announced that on the 27th. That's either, I think that's what they said is going to be the last day where they'll do ACH transfers. So you won't be able to get money from your checking account, your personal checking account in the United States to Kraken, and you also won't be able to get your money out of the exchange into a checking account, not from Kraken anyway. And look, I don't know. They haven't, as far as I've seen, they haven't divulged the specific reasons for their situation. But you've seen banks, crypto-friendly banks collapse. Presumably, it has everything to do with that. And if not, and if I find out, then I'll be happy to talk about it on the channel. But I think that's a pretty reasonable guess at this point. And it's all because of this attack that you're seeing on crypto. It's not crypto that causes these banks to have these problems. And then what was the government response? So it's getting scary and scary. And actually, I'm going to talk about that topic actually more in a separate video at some point anyway, because it's got me thinking, what the hell am I personally going to do here in the United States next time we have a major bull run? Or who knows, maybe even XRP just runs sooner than later because we get positive ruling in the SEC v. Ripple case. What the hell am I going to do to make sure that I can get out of my position if I want to sell most or all of it, if it goes high enough where I'd want to do that, if it does? I know uphold's still an option, but I'd still kind of wonder to what degree. Like, what if there's a bunch of action and then like an exchange goes down? You need to have backup plans. And what do you do then? Like, if you can't get your crypto out, like, what do you do? Put it into Tether, put it into USDC, and then you have a ridiculous amount of your net worth in a stable coin for a while. Anyway, I know it's just stuff I've been thinking about. I'll talk about it more in a future video. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do here. And then there's this next topic. There's this individual named Niraj Agrawal, and he works at Coin Center, and he said some stuff that wasn't true. And then an XRP community member who is an attorney came back and brought up a separate point because it's just kind of funny. It's one of those things where it's close to like pot calling kettle black, one of those types of things. And so there's this tweet from this guy, and he says, Ripple gave $5 million to Greenpeace, and all they got is a cool statue that associates Bitcoin with nuclear power. And he's clearly referencing the graphic that is on your screen right now with this green-looking tech skull thing and dudes with red glowy eyes, because, laser eyes, all that. Except for he's saying stuff that just isn't true. So here's the headline from Bloomberg from March 28th of last year. Greenpeace crypto billionaire lobbied to change Bitcoin code. Now, whatever you think of that whole push, that was not Ripple. That was Chris Larsen, who's a co-founder of Ripple. And co-founder of Ripple, Chris Larsen, provided $5 million towards that specific effort. But it wasn't that him even writing a $5 million check to Greenpeace. If any, I'm not sure if any of it did, but there's all sorts of money that was donated for an advertising campaign, so on and so forth. So it wasn't even specifically to Greenpeace, even if any, maybe some of it went there. I'm not aware if that even happened though. But it wasn't Ripple. So this guy's just one of those people, clearly, it's just one of those Ripple haters, probably hates XRP too because of reasons. And none of this is true, but it's just such an interesting claim considering the fact that his organization is taking money for reasons that don't look so fantastic, let's say. So look at this headline from the Crypto Basic. XRP community member bashes Coin Center after Agrawal mocks Ripple. XRP community member claims Coin Center took payments from Ethereum Foundation to discredit other projects. Well, how about that? The organization received a $500,000 grant from the Ethereum Foundation in 2021. Bill Morgan, a pro-XRP Australian lawyer, has alleged that the Ethereum Foundation's grant to nonprofit research and crypto advocacy organization Coin Center was for past services calling out other tokens as securities. So I'll just pause to note, might it be the case that he's kind of getting at, maybe you're saying some of this nonsense crap, which actually literally isn't true in this case, and he didn't get called out for that, which is why I wanted to make sure that I said it. Might it be because you got $500,000 from ETH Foundation? Is that why they're saying this stuff about the Ripple? Is that the reason there? Wouldn't be surprised if so. Anyway, piece continues. Morgan made this claim in a two-part Twitter thread today, citing an excerpt from a Coin Center blog post in 2016 to answer whether Bitcoin is a security. As highlighted by Morgan, the author expresses that Ethereum is not a security because of its application-based platform. Conversely, the article states that projects with heavily marketed pre-sales or sales of pre-mined cryptocurrencies with a small and non-diverse mining and developer community when the facts indicate that profits come primarily from the efforts of this discrete and profit-motivated group past the Howey test. Now, of course, shouldn't even get to the Howey test before determining whether or not there's a contract or an investment contract. So there's that, which means that that's all garbage. You shouldn't even get to the part where you're talking about the Howey test. But that's what they wrote, and dating back. In fact, here, I'll just pull up the tweet. So here's what attorney Bill Morgan wrote. Is Coin Center still receiving those grants from the Ethereum Foundation for past services, calling out other tokens as securities? And then he wrote, starting with this from its early 2016 document. And then I don't feel the need to read the whole thing. If you want to pause and look at the screen, you can see part of what was written back in 2016. But again, it doesn't even make sense to get the Howey test if they don't even talk about whether or not there are actual contracts in place. And nobody was talking about that back then. But it just goes to point out, like, even the people that were most in the know in 2016, nobody was talking about, what about case precedent dating back to 1946? Are there actual investment contracts? What about blue sky laws? What about all that stuff? It wasn't until Ripple's legal team ended up bringing it up that it was addressed at all, and now it's more widely understood. It's just fascinating. And then there's this, to point out further, he talked about, what if there's a small developer community and this or that, and these other metrics that you can consider. But, you know, when it comes to the XRP ledger, it's unquestionably incredibly decentralized. Look at this headline from the Crypto Basic. XRP Ledger Foundation releases updated UNL, now boasting 36 validators. And one of the things that really steams my vegetables is when Bitcoin maxi trolls, you know, I just wish they'd just hang out next to their warm dumpster fires, living under the bridges that they live on. I prefer they just stay there, frankly. Just waddling around saying nonsense. Ripple XRP scam coins here. That's what the Bitcoin maxi troll sound. I'd rather them just do that than talk about anything to me ever again. That would be very nice. Because they say nonsense like, you know, Ripple controls the unique node list, this and that, and it's nonsense. You can absolutely choose you know, the validators that you trust. You set up your own unique node list. In fact, here's one, and you can use a preset node list. You can use Ripples, but nobody's forcing you to. You can choose to do that. It's basically like, here's a template. You can use it if you want to use it. So there's Ripple's UNL, or if you want to use XRP Ledger Foundation's UNL, you can do that too. Or not. You don't have to use any of it. Anyway, so the piece reads as follows. The XRP Ledger Foundation has updated its unique node list, increasing the number of validators trusted by the foundation from 34 to 36. The group revealed this in a tweet today. Notably, the last time the XRP Ledger Foundation updated its UNL was in January, when the list was reduced from 35 to 34. In January, the number of Ripple-owned validators was reduced from 2 to 1 in line with its one validator per entity policy. But I thought that Ripple controlled everything with their, you know, they force a UNL on you and they got all these validators. No, they don't though. They absolutely do not. And so this idea that there's some sort of centralization, and even if you want to apply it to the Howey test, no. Even if you want to talk about it, obviously not. And then they wrote, to the XRP Ledger Foundation initially reduced this number to 2 in October. Nonetheless, it bears mentioning that the blockchain payments company incentivizes most university-run validators. There we are. It couldn't be more obvious. The crap we've had to argue against with the Bitcoin maxi trolls out there. And it's just, what's so unfortunate is that what I've seen is the vast majority of people that have argued such things, they're not even attempting to be, or interested in being, intellectually honest. They just want to assert things because they are ideologically driven. It's not about being in line with what is truth. It's about convincing people to be in line with what is best for them and their products and their personal beliefs, which I find repulsive. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.